like and subscribe. Pretty please. Divorce lawyers of Reddit. What's the most outrageous reason someone filed for divorce? After 7 years of marriage, a husband, unbeknownst to the wife, started trying to convince their nanny to have a threesome, telling her his wife would be really into it. He was a Wall Street guy, and she was a physician, and the nanny had been with them since their first kid was born 4 years earlier. The nanny finally made a move on the wife, who told her it was inappropriate, but a few months later, they got drunk, and they had that threesome. It turned into a regular thing. The husband was totally happy until the wife said she and the nanny were in love with each other and she was leaving him for the nanny. During the custody proceedings, the husband tried to argue the nanny was an illegal immigrant, which was ridiculous. In the end, the wife got primary custody. 3 years later, the wife and nanny are still together, though they hired a new nanny. Have they not learned that hiring nannies is a bad idea for marriage? Overheard in court one day, a woman wanted to divorce her husband because he likes taking pictures of trains and had been doing so 4 years before. A man wanted to divorce his wife, fault and no fault type of divorce, because she was diagnosed with cancer. I've heard of couples doing this in the US so that the spouse with cancer is entitled to state medical programs that married people are not eligible for. Hopefully it's something like that, because damn, US healthcare is fucking weird. Because she bought a $3,500 dog as a surprise, and when she sent him the picture he responded with, "This kind of impulsive bullshit is why your family is poor." Which one filed? She did. She was livid at that comment. She saw him in bike shorts and said she could never be sexually attracted to him again. I practically live on a bike path, and let me tell you that some people shouldn't wear bike shorts or anything with spandex, ever. My friend's wife divorced him because he wasn't black enough. He immigrated to the US from Eritrea, and I guess somehow that's not black enough. Damn, I'm Eritrean. It feels personal. During their honeymoon, the wife asked for a Gucci handbag, and the husband told her he couldn't afford it because he just spent $200,000 on the wedding plus honeymoon. She filed for divorce after their return. I remember seeing an episode of Divorce Court where the lady was upset because her husband cooked too much and he was too nice. Guy came in and wanted to divorce his wife because he found out that she was still married to some other guy. He then asked me if he needed to tell his other wife that he was married to this wife. This was a free legal clinic and everyone was homeless. A lot of stories make more sense when they end with, "and everyone was homeless." Not qualified, but butting in nevertheless, with a story my physician brother told me. His patients tell him everything. One of his patients got divorced because after his girlfriend and he got married, the girlfriend began bugging him about quitting the meds he was taking for depression and anxiety because she should be enough or some such thing. He eventually did. Then later she wanted a divorce because he wasn't the same guy she married. Ugh, this reminds me of my ex. I have had really intense panic attacks since I was in middle school, so I have a prescription for anti-anxiety medication. Really helps me, keeps the attacks at bay. Enter this guy, and he is super against big pharma, etc., and into natural remedies. Keeps pestering me to stop poisoning myself. Also used the "I should be enough" tactic. I finally agree to try taking a break from my meds, just to see if I still need them, / can be better without them. I get a huge panic attack one day, hyperventilation, can't breathe, throat feels like it's closing, crying erratically. Instead of comforting me and trying to help, he screams at me for being crazy and that I just need to think myself out of it, and tells me I'm irrational. Literally, no empathy, no understanding of the state I'm in. Long story short, we are not together anymore, thankfully. Oh boy, I've been working at a family law firm for 3 years, and I have seen / heard some crazy stuff. For example, 1. We handled the divorce for an older man, 70s, because he was cheating and wanted to be with his mistress. 2 years go by, he comes back to divorce the mistress because he's been cheating on her with his first wife. 2. Wife found photos of her husband dressed up as a ballerina. 3. Husband files for divorce because wife does cocaine. He brings us photos of her with coke on her bare boobs, then admits he took the photos, then admits he's the one with the coke habit. 4. Wife filed for divorce because she didn't want to relocate to a neighboring state for his promotion. 5. Couple with open marriage both end up jealous and call different law firms and file separate complaints for divorce within hours of each other. Not me, but my friend's a lawyer. She wanted a divorce because he stole a fry. Not fucking joking. It was hilarious to hear about. Women wants divorce because husband is not at home by 5 o'clock PM. She didn't understand that he had a job to do. I dated a girl a couple years back, and if I wasn't home within 5 minutes of the time she expected me to be home, she thought I was cheating on her. My commute from work to home was about 15 minutes to an hour. If I was late she would call me and ask me who I was with. Nobody. I'm by myself in my car. My roommate sex was like this. She went so far as to look on Google Maps how long it would take him to get home and would call if he was even a minute late. She always assumed he was at the bar. Fair. Also potentially true. Or with some other girl. Nope. Or with a gay bartender from the bar that she was convinced he was sleeping with. I did maybe 5 divorces. I had one client who, after I met her soon-to-be ex-husband, stated, "Do you see how retarded he is? That's why I have to divorce him. If I had known how retarded he was, I never would have married him." The guy fired his lawyer once a month and constantly tried to file obviously fabricated or altered documents when he was between counsel. Eventually, very favorably for my client, we settled since he couldn't find someone to take his case and was looking at felony charges for all the fake documents. I loved that case because it was just such a circus and my client was very reasonable. Not divorce, but breakup. I left a woman cause she lived on the 11th floor without an elevator. What type of person moves into a place like that? My friend's parents, because she was tired of the husband being too short, the same height as when they started dating. She a dum-dum. He was snoring too loud. That's it. That's the main reason. Sleep deprivation is a form of torture. She never really loved him. She used him to get pregnant. They have 3 kids. She kept on urging him on to buy a brand new house in one of those cookie cutter neighborhoods. Her plan was to divorce him, take all 3 kids, and take the brand new house, but him pay for it, and have him pay child support on all 3 kids. Her lawyer wasn't comfortable with this at all, considering he had all their financial information. And husband was making just enough for all 5 of them to get by before husband was able to sign papers on a new house. Her lawyer accidentally left a message on his phone instead of her phone going over the final draft of the divorce add-on. So where I live, both parties have to be aware of the divorce. You can't just sneak attack on your spouse like this woman was doing. They have to have some knowledge of it. Even if one spouse just straight up shouts, "I'm gonna divorce you," that would count. So I don't think the lawyer is in a situation where he'd be in trouble for doing what he did. Not a lawyer, but this was big gossip at the church I went to. One of the more prominent members of the church filed for divorce because his wife was battling stage 4 ovarian cancer. His claim was that she was unable to perform marital duties. She died shortly after the divorce. People were pissed when they found OU, and he became a social pariah and left the church. Anyone who divorces their spouse during cancer, unless there is extreme abuse, financial malfeasance, or some other horrible truth or secret is revealed, we are talking like pedophilia, being a violent racist, infidelity, etc., is nothing short of scum. Doubly so if it is over something like the inability to have sex, because cancer fucking sucks. I'm glad the church pariahed that guy. No excuse. A man filed for divorce because he couldn't stand listening to his wife make the AAH sound after every drink. Apparently it got to him over the years. One straw really can break a camel's back. I'm related to a couple for whom the last straw was him laughing at a joke about how to light birthday candles. Important context. Things had been rocky for a while, and they'd gone back and forth with trial separations, counseling, renewal retreats, reconciliations that didn't quite last, etc. But then they were at their son's birthday party and another relative started lighting the candles. From the left side of the cake, wife, why didn't you start from the center and light outward? Relative. I thought about it, but I was worried you'd have nothing to complain about. Husband. Chuckles. Wife. Storms out in tears. Files for divorce the next week. Obviously, it would be dumb to say they divorced over the birthday candles, or over a joke. To her, him laughing at a joke that was made at her expense was a sign of the lack of respect between them, and she just couldn't take living with him if things were going to be like that. They're both happily remarried and stayed civil as co-parents. Fart issues are a real thing. He didn't file, but he said he videoed his stepdaughter in the shower for the sole purpose of forcing his wife to leave him. Sounds like he got caught, and that's how he attempted to exonerate himself to authorities, family, friends, and his boss. I'm not saying the story is impossible. Sure, someone could be that dumb. It's just, in general, you don't want provable or witnessed misdemeanor or felony actions you committed, regardless of if you were charged, be the preface for any legal proceeding. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.